Looking to pick up your very own custom sleeves? Well, look no further. Go to yourplaymat.com where you can choose to have your very own image on the back of sleeves, or you can choose from their amazing range of pre-designed artwork ready and waiting for you. Get them shipped directly to your door and use the affiliate link and discount code down below to get 10% off. What are you waiting for? Go and grab your custom sleeves from yourplaymat.com.
What's up YouTube, Dal here from Zephyr Games, and today I'm going to bring you an update to my Poker Nights or Joker Night profile that I took to locals this weekend. I had an incredible amount of fun with it and it actually did really well. My only loss was to Ellich, and it was literally because they just opened up the nuts. But other than that, the deck performed like insanely well. There was a lot of people that were surprised at how well it can do. So I'm going to take you through the list and I'll give you an overall locals breakdown and report. So start off with triple Imperial Bar. This card's obviously your core go-to card. It's the one you want to be normal summoning more times than not. The only issue with this is that it is the perfect kind of like draw for Ash Blossoms, but that's where Gamma comes into play, where you want to protect this, or there's other cards that you can put onto the board to try and bait out your opponent's Ashes before you get into this card. We've then got Triple Joker's Night, so this works as a free extender, but then recurs itself from the graveyard to the hand during the end phase, which is really cool because it means you're always going to get a free monster the turn after. Triple King's Night, if you don't get Imperial Boa, you kind of want to go with King's Night. I actually resolved the combo a couple of times because the idea is that with Joker Night, you send either Jack, Queen, or King, and it becomes that name. So the idea is that you send Queen to special summon down Joker, normal summon King, trigger the effect to bring out Jack, and then instantly you've got a rank 5 play there. But on top of that, you can just use 2 of those monsters to start making your Isolde combo, and you've already got the free extender because you brought Jack out, which means you get your full combo, which ultimately, if you wanted to go full-on meta, could lead you into a Dragoon, plus a Bardiche, plus 1, if not 2 Fog Blades, and kind of go from there. Triple Queen's Night and Double Jack Night, again, pretty standard on this one. I actually found myself siding out the Jack. You never want to see it in hand, but the only reason I've kept it in is purely for that example there. And then off of the back of that, because King isn't a once per turn, you can resolve Jack twice, which is why he's in there at 2, but ideally it's one that I would like to cut back. Triple Galaxy Soldier, this put in a lot of work, and it actually put in more work as a free extender than it did as Infinity. Now again, what you kind of get with your Galaxy Soldier, it doesn't help you bait out with the... it kind of does and it doesn't. It only helps bait this out, or bait out for the Imperial Boa, if they stop it. And what I mean by that is if they let it come onto the board and then like Imperm or Veiler it, then you're kind of in a bit of a tricky situation. Because then you've got a monster on board that isn't going to get you your other counterpart, so you then need to hope that you're able to get a King and a Joker play off on top of that. But what this was useful for is I would get 2 warriors on the board quite nicely and easily, go into Isolde, and then need that final extender just to help make my link climbs in order to complete the combo with Bardiche. But again, if you don't have that free extender, you still get a free negate Appaloosa. And then off of the back of that, if you have any free extenders, being Galaxy Soldier, or of course being any of the other cards you might have maintained, you're then able to extend further and get a better monster on board, for example. And ways that your combo can kind of slow down is with Fire Flint Lady and Infernoble Knight Renard. So if either of these 2 cards, you open them up and they have to be used as your extender, that's where it kind of falls back a little bit, because that's when you still need an additional extender. Because the whole idea behind the combo is you go Isolde send Duradol, special summon out Renard, Renard adds the Duradol back from the graveyard, activate that, equip it to Renard, get rid of it, bring out your Fire Flint, and then special the Fire Flint. Now, that is all from a 1-card combo because that all comes off the back of Imperial Boa, but that's where you need an additional extender. If you do open up any of these, keep them in mind they are still extenders, which does mean that Isolde will special Fire Flint from the deck, and then you special the Renard, so the combo is still live. It is pretty much, if you have to use this as your free extender to get onto the board 2 warriors or anything like that, that's where the combo starts to struggle a bit. Then, of course, we've got one of each of the Phantom Knights, Cloak and Boots. They can be a pain in the backside if you open them, but you do have cards that discard, so you can still set up Fog Blades if you want to. The one Codebreaker 0 Day, again, this just helps you throughout your combo, get you into the Berserkers, and then get you into your Bardiche. Red Layer, the idea is if you go second and you do open up Duradol, you can equip that to your opponent's monster, activate it, add Red Layer, special Red Layer. Even if you don't go that form of route, if you do open up Red Layer, it is still a free special summon, and it's a very nice card that you can just add off of the Isolde. The final monsters is, of course, the Gamma package. Now, this actually puts in a lot of work, because what this allows you to do is, yes, after you activate Joker's straight, and after it resolves, you can't special monsters from the extra deck except Light Warriors. So you can still go into or activate the Gamma to protect the Joker's straight, but you can't go any further than that. But because I was playing other cards as well, so for example, a Duradol going second, a Rota, a Pot of Prosperity, if you do have that. If you don't, there are other cards you can use. It can still be Desires, anything like that. And more importantly, Imperial Bar. The amount of times yesterday that I'd go Imperial Bar, tribute to use the effect, and my opponent go Ash, and I'd go, okay, Gamma. And what's best about that is, even if you did all this prior, so keep in mind with Gamma, if they were trying to Ash your Rota or Ash your Pot of Prosperity or anything like that, you can still make your Gamma, go, with Driver, go into a Mega rip another one from your opponent's hand, leaves you with an empty board, which still means that your Imperial Bar is live. And that's what put in so much work yesterday. It was crazy. So that's kind of the monster lineup. As you can see, you've got pretty much a decent handful of extenders, and then of course you've got your entire Poker Knight kind of engine there to get going, and it does have different utilities. Like, even if I didn't open up the Imperial Bar combo, I still had, like I said, the King and the Joker plays, I still had Galaxy plays, and there was still a lot more to kind of get the board rolling. Then onto the spells, Triple Joker straight. Again, this has the same graveyard recursion that Joker's Knight does, which is really nice, which means technically, as long as you're recycling the correct pieces, you're always going to be able to get 3 monsters on the next turn. The only issue is, if they stop you at any point, you struggle to kind of get them off the board. And what I mean by that is, if you've already used your Utopia or your Utopia double play and that gets stopped, that's where it can become a little bit tricky, because that's obviously your go-to win card. And if that gets used up or gets negated or anything like that, then you're kind of backtracking until you can kind of put the cards back into the extra deck. Double Pot of Prosperity, this is the main money card of the deck, but you can play Pot of Desires if you want to, because you do play a lot of 3-offs. You just want to make sure that you get your 1-off plays first, so you don't kind of risk losing all of those. You can play Pot of Extravagance. If you were to do that, the extra deck does become very, very thin, and I'll show you what I would maximize in order to run that card. For the equip spells, 1 Duradol, 1 Living Fossil. Obviously, even if you open up the Duradol and you use that effect, your Living Fossil is then added back with, or sent off of Isolde and added back with Renard. And then just by activating this, you get to bring back one of the materials that was used for Isolde. So that's another example, is if you've already opened up Duradol or you already open up Fireflint, your Living Fossil then becomes an extender as well. 1 Call By, because you need to protect yourself from hand traps. The 1 Garnet of Double or Nothing, and then of course the 1 Reinforcement of the Army. I only opened up this once, and that was the one time that I was kind of like, yeah, that sucks a bit. But other than that, it worked a treat. And then for the traps, I bumped up Fogblade to 2 and obviously Brigadine to 1. So purely the idea is that Brigadine still counts as a free extender because it is a warrior. So it can go into Isolde as well, which is really, really nice. And then the idea behind this is, if you do open this up and use it as an extender, or you open it up at all, you still have 2 Fogblades to fall back on. So your end board could ultimately be like a Redo with a bounce, an Appaloosa with 3 negates or maybe even 2 negates, plus a Bardiche, plus 2 Fogblades, and that's not taken into account if you opened up Joker straight or anything like that, because you're then able to go one step further. So that's it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck. Of course, I'm only playing the 1 Isolde. You should only need to resolve it once. Yes, if it does get stopped as you try to resolve it, that's when you'll probably be like, right, I really wish I had a second. But ultimately, I never needed it, and the extra deck space is kind of tight. For the other Link 2 monster, I did play the 1 Cyframe Lord Lambda, because the idea behind this is, if you wanted to underpay and you decided to not use Appaloosa but you made Lambda, it also means that when you banish your Redoer can then get you a Gamma. So you've got the ability to kind of cycle the Gammas through. It would either be Link Spider or Lambda, and the reason Link Spider is good is because you go turn Queen's Knight into Link Spider, and if you've got another Queen's Knight in hand, you special summon it, so you still get another monster to the board. And there was a couple of times where you have to turn Brigadine into this, but that's more so if you play the Verte Anaconda combo. For the other Link 2, of course, we've got the Codebreaker Virus Swordsman, which leads into your Berserker. Pretty standard on that combo there. The 1 Draco Master, you're only really using it for its link zones, because if you can't get into an Appaloosa with an additional extender, you go into the Draco Master, then you do the Virus combo, and that's how you end up getting into your Phantom Knight of Rusty Bardiche. And then finally, of course, you've got the 1 Appaloosa, because if you can't fulfill the combo to get all of these guys out and into Bardiche, you can still just make a 3 negate Appaloosa. But even if you do, the ending combo is you use Boots plus this to get a 2 negate Appaloosa, and then set up your Fog Blades. Moving on to, well, the one synchro, which of course is Omega, because like I said, if you do resolve this to protect your stuff with Gamma, you make it, your opponent is already playing with 3 cards, and the chances are that by the time they're playing with 3 cards and you finish your combo, because that's the idea of what you want to protect, they're then going to have to deal with 2, they'll be playing with 4 cards, 2 of them will need to try and get through an Appaloosa, and then 2 of them need to get through 2 set Fog Blades, so you're really causing them an issue. For the other high levels, of course, do play the one Zeus. If you don't have Zeus, don't worry about it. This was just one of them moments where it's like, okay, cool. I make Infinity, I attack with it, I make Zeus. I make Utopia, I attack with it but can't win the game, I make Zeus. It's just kind of like a fallback plan should you need it. Speaking of which, we do play the Utopia package now. So, unlike my previous build, I've completely cut out the Utopic Draco kind of combo because it did require a lot to get going to get to it, and you need to ideally open up max combo to end on it. So, I kind of thought, well, I've got a board clear, a boss monster in Zeus, but I needed a boss monster. So, if you want to, this could be Verte and Dragoon, but the reason I went with double and Utopia is because obviously you can make these off of Joker straight, whereas you can't make Verte and Dragoon off of Joker straight. The other rank 4 we play is the Reader because you can make it with your Brigadine, and then also keep in mind that it does give you a nice bounce, and stealing your opponent's cards to give you draws or anything like that is also going to be good. Then for our rank 5s, we do have the one Pallades, and then obviously Cyber Dragon Nova into Cyber Dragon Infinity. Obviously, the whole idea behind all of these is this is a protection early on to kind of help you get past stuff like Nibiru's, to help you get stuff like early Ashes, and that's just where you go Galaxy Soldiers and build up your plays. Keep in mind that by going that route, you're not able to resolve the Imperial Bar because you're going to have monsters on your field, but it does mean that if you open up other extenders or anything like that, then you're able to move your plays further forward. Pallades is an option because it is a light warrior, so it can be made with Joker and Jack, but as a quick bounce as well, which is quite nice, but I didn't really go into it as much as I would have liked to. So that's it for the extra deck. Moving on, just to quickly show you the side deck. Now, again, side decks I don't like to show off all the time because it does kind of relate to your local environment. But right now, I always pretty much play Evenly Matched just as a general, very powerful board clear card. Any particular back row card. Now, I went with Cosmic Cyclone because you actually discard a lot from your hand as you're building up. Yes, you do regain your advantages with Jokers and Straights, but I thought Cosmic Cyclone, especially because I knew I was facing Eldritch and stuff like that, would have been better than Twin Twisters and Lightning Storms. Double Launches, I actually cut these down to 2 purely because I didn't expect there to be any Tri-Brigades. I was like, just in case there is, I'll go with them, but if they're not, then I'm not really taking out a lot of my extra deck space. Double Forbidden Droplet, these can easily be Dark Ruler No Mores, don't even worry about those. Triple Imperm doesn't even really need to be in here. It's probably one of the cards you kind of main it, but I was just morely worried about if my opponent Barrier Statued or Wind Barrier Statued me, then I would need something to kind of turn it off, but these could easily be Ash Blossoms. And then Nibiru's for the combo decks, which is pretty much what I ended up coming up against. So the local environment was, or what I ended up facing was very, very weird. It was Karakuri, which is just like, what? Then it was Infernoble Knights, which is really kind of cool because that's like 2 locals in a row that I've ended up facing those 2 different places as well. Then of course it was Eldritch, and then the final one was Cyber Dragons. And you might be like, ah, yeah, whatever. Cyber Dragons were ending on bloody, I had to out a Dragoon plus an Infinity. And the way I did that was I activated either Pot of Prosperity or Reinforcement of the Army. They activated Infinity to negate. I chained Gamma. They then used Dragoon to negate the Gamma, which basically I had an Imperial Bar in my hand, which basically allowed me to go off and then ultimately allowed me to go full combo, and that's where Utopia came in, and Utopia just went boom over the Dragoon, cleared off the Infinity, and then kind of built off from there. Anyway, I hope you like this kind of breakdown. I hope it's a nice update to the deck. I really, really like this version. I think the Warrior version definitely produces more consistently than the God version, in my opinion. And a lot of people were like, huh, I can't believe you're playing Joker's Knights. And then they looked at my board and went, what? How did you do that? And I was like, well, yeah, this is how they do it. So if you don't know what the combo is, it is literally pretty much on one of the previous videos, but it ultimately comes down to Imperial Boa plus any extender, whether that be Galaxy Soldier, and by being Galaxy Soldier, the card you search off of Isolde must be a light monster, and then you've got your free summon there. Otherwise, it's the 2 brand new cards of Imperial Boa and Joker's Knight, and you just need this as a free extender. So I won't do it in this video because I've already done it in the previous video. So if you want to check that out, I will put the link in the description below and you can jump straight to it, just to kind of save those that have already seen it going over it again. But as absolutely always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Any questions at all, then let me know in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to help you out or answer them for you and kind of go from there. But as absolutely always, guys, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.
Looking to pick up your very own custom sleeves? Well, look no further. Go to yourplaymat.com where you can choose to have your very own image on the back of sleeves, or you can choose from their amazing range of pre-designed artwork ready and waiting for you. Get them shipped directly to your door and use the affiliate link and discount code down below to get 10% off. What are you waiting for? Go and grab your custom sleeves from yourplaymat.com.